Hey everybody, my name is Thomas and thank you so much for tuning into another awesome interview here on Evisceradio, where I sit down with bands that I'm into. We talk about everything from what's good in life, what's good in music, and everything in between. It's a guaranteed 100% wholesome, genuine good time, and I'm super happy that you guys are along for the ride with me. For this interview, I'm keeping it homegrown. There's a lot of crazy good heavy metal music in the Toronto area, and I'm talking to a band called Cryophilic from Hamilton, which is a city just down the way. When I was started doing this interview thing, Cryophilic were the first band that I approached, and I finally get to sit down with these guys. What's really cool about this is that I don't know much information about them. They're kind of hard to dig out. I just know that I loved what I heard. They have one album out. It's really, really, really good. And I've been looking forward to sitting down without any homework being done and just talking about the what's what and getting educated by the people behind the music. So that being said, let's jump right into it and find out what's going on in the Hammer, man. Cryophilic. Yeah. Right on, brother. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm fucking loving life right now, man. I'm so happy that this summer's going well with work and the new Toronto shit, man. Yeah, it's been very, very busy. What's good?
Sunday morning, man, just chilling.
Look at all that gear you got behind you. Are you guys in your jam space?
Yeah, it's just me today. I'm at my jam space.
Yeah, man. Like the gear list never ends, huh?
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, I went through a huge period of I had a big line of Jacksons, and I had the dual rack, and I had the Carvins and the Ibanez's and stuff. I wound up not using it. I sold most of it and kind of went the way of the acoustic side of things. I'm still there today, but man, I'm no stranger to sitting beside a big wall of crazy metal sounds. It's fucking great. I'm super jealous.
We love our gear.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
We love gear. We're gearhead.
Yeah, man. I'm a huge gearhead. This whole studio behind me is was plugged into many, 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 many things. There's cameras in front of me, lights in front of me. Obviously you can see the plants in the set. I don't mess around when it comes to gear, and I can see that you guys don't either. So yeah, man, I was looking forward to seeing you guys for quite some time. When I first wound up coming out to Toronto, you were the first band that I contacted that I wanted to sit down to. I'm pretty into knowing what's going on in the Toronto, or I guess any city's local scene sort of deal. And I'm about a year in, and I've only had a couple of chances to see some of the local bands. There was a show, Spectral Wound came to Toronto from Montreal, I think a month ago, and Fantafaxeth opened for them. And I think that's kind of one of the only shows, or one of the only local bands that I've seen. And I've only ever been to Hamilton twice, and it's been on a work excursion. And so aside from a steel city, or where it used to be a steel city, I have no idea what kind of scenes going on down there. And when I reached out to you guys, it was kind of in the hopes that I could educate myself a little bit on what actually is happening in the GTA and sort of surrounding areas. And I honestly, I've been doing some homework on you guys and kind of what's going on in Hamilton, and I kind of been coming up short. I really don't know what's going on out there. So, and one of the reasons why I was looking forward to talking to you for so long is because if I can't really find too much information on a band, then I can really talk to them without any real opinions, and just kind of get to know the people and get to know the music that they're doing. And I'm just kind of interested as a fan just to find out what you guys are about. I'm what's going on in Hamilton?
It's COVID kind of really slowed things down a lot for actually the whole entire world, I guess.
Yeah.
But the scene's pretty good here. There's a lot of really, really good bands. A lot of venues kind of shut down during the whole pandemic thing and kind of didn't really open up again.
Yeah.
But things are starting to pick up again. Scene's pretty good. Lots of good bands. I don't know.
Well, the venue's not surviving the whole COVID shutdown thing is not a surprise. Halifax took a monster hit. I had moved up here from Halifax, and not a lot of venues made it. Some of the old stalwart metal ones, like Gus's Pub up in the North End, Halifax. Apparently that's not that's on its way out, if it isn't already. And it's kind of hard for bands to kind of find places to go? Like, you guys having to find yourselves coming into Toronto or elsewhere outside of Hamilton to play, or like, is there still places down there?
In Hamilton, there's the Doors Pub, which is Hamilton's best metal bar. It's the taco and metal joint, they call it.
Tacos and metal?
Tacos and metal.
That sounds like
it's probably Hamilton's strongest venue for metal. It's a nice little place. But for Toronto-wise, we've only really played out in Toronto maybe 2 or 3 times so far.
Oh, really?
We're going to be there next weekend, this weekend coming up, actually, the 26th in Toronto.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've never been there before either, so that should be a cool venue.
Where I've never other than you guys posting it, I've never heard of it before. I'm not sure what area that would.
I don't really know the area it's in yet. I just kind of follow the guys there.
Cool. Yeah, right on. Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I saw that date coming up. I would love to check it out, but I'm away on work. But I'm working out on location. And also spare time these days is really like I don't come by often anymore. This is the first sit down I've had in like I think the last 4 weeks. I just finally had a day off where I can, start opening them books back up again. Yeah. Cryophilic, man. Okay, the first question I thought of when I first discovered you guys is that like Cryophilic is such an interesting band name to come across. Of it like almost seems conceptual in a way. Like I don't know how old you guys are or how old the band actually is, but like I'm just curious, like how did you come across a name like that? Was there any kind of lead up to that, or like where did that come about?
We were kind of looking for a name that kind of represented like cold, desolate kind of stuff, and like we're from Canada, the winters are goddamn cold here.
They're brutal.
The name, and basically what it means is something that thrives, like an organism that thrives at low temperatures and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's kind of fitting for what we're going for.
Yeah, man, fucking that's cool. I it definitely fits the type of sound that you're going for as well. It's a pretty frigid, frosty, frostbitten sort of thing. By the way, Toronto winters are bullshit. Holy crap, it's cold out here.
How different is it from Halifax?
Halifax, well, it's coastal, so it's obviously damp. Yeah. And as like in recent winters, there hasn't really been a lot of snow. The last couple of winters that I was home, I might like get a bad snow like once or twice a year, but it never dipped below -20, or very rarely it did. But it was totally manageable. But in Toronto, man, that stuff rips through like the heaviest cloak. So it is misery. It's taken me a year to like finally climatize. I moved up here in the middle of July last year, and it was fucking hot. I was dying. I couldn't sleep, and then freezing in winter. And I'm like, why did I come here?
One extreme to the other.
From one extreme to the other. But the temperature definitely is small potatoes compared to like all the opportunities that are out here. But I'm definitely here to stay. One of the reasons why I came up here was to chase like follow the show and see where that can go. Yeah. But also like discovering like who the local people are, and like on top of that, all the big ass bands that like kind of come out here, because Toronto is like the hub for great music to come back and forth. But I would hope that there's going to be more time at least to check out a bunch of like local stuff, which is one of the real reasons why this show kind of exists up in this plane. Halifax has got a lot of local bands and stuff like that, but there's just not much going on. And like with a small population, the bands seem the members of bands members of bands seems to be a little bit incestuous. Like you got one guy in like 10 bands, you know what I mean?
This out here too, though. Like I guess it's like that everywhere.
You think so?
Yeah, and I know in Hamilton here, there's lots of guys that are in a lot of different bands. Like we actually just had a little member change in our lineup, and it's all the same guys going from bands to bands. Like there's only a small community of musicians here that are.
Oh, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, but it's definitely an incestuous scene here too, for sure.
Yeah, okay. I made the assumption that the population bigger, more musicians, but then again, like just goes to show you. I come from bumpkin country, Nova Scotia, so like, like I wouldn't assume that you moved to a big city there'd be all kinds of musicians everywhere. But just
there's lots of musicians, but they're all friends. They all know each other, and they all jam with each other, basically.
Yeah. You guys are all like you seem like younger folks. Like, have you guys known each other for quite a while?
We're all around 40 years old, and me and the drummer Sean, we're in a few bands together. We've been jamming with each other since probably 2010. Our bass player that just joined us, our other bass player left. He was in a band previous with us back in 2010 as well.
Yeah.
Tim and our other guitar player, Tim's our guitar player, and our singer Ben, they were in another band previous to it together too. So it's all kind of all people from around the scene. We've all known each other through the scene for a long time too.
No, I would have figured that for sure. Yeah. It attracts similarities, definitely. Yeah. Most niches and most scenes kind of do that. That's what's cool about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, there isn't too, like, we play like 8-string guitars, and there aren't too many death metal guitar players in the area that play 8-string. So we all kind of gravitate towards each other.
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, that's a factor too. You guys have like similar actual extensions of yourself being 8-string guitarists. I actually kind of didn't notice that looking at the social media stuff, but you can totally hear it in the album.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. That is some fucking like, oh Jesus, that's heavy. Very good gym music. Holy crap. Yeah. You guys, are you able to talk about any kind of possible new stuff you got coming down the pipe?
Yeah. So our set is mostly new material now. We've been working on a new album for probably since COVID. It's actually almost done now. We weren't sure if we want to split it in half and release like 2 like 5 or 6 song EPs, or just put out another full length.
Oh yeah, no way.
We've got about 12 tunes that we're going to finish up recording. And it's definitely leagues beyond the last stuff, production wise and material wise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it when good bands come up with new shit. I fucking love it. Yeah. What brought you to a crossroads about 2 EP splits versus an album? Just like the number of songs, or
not the number of songs, just the way things are released nowadays, like Spotify and like the internet and stuff like that. Like, more people are more coerced to listen to like a shorter EP rather than the entire album.
Yeah.
Just so we can release things more consecutively and consistently too, as well.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't fall into that category. I'm a CD collector.
Hey, let me tell you this. I'm a CD collector too, but I just bought a new vehicle, and finding a new vehicle with a goddamn CD player in it, they don't happen anymore.
No.
I used to carry on this big binder of CDs with me. Now it's useless.
No, hey, never give up, man. There's always a way. What kind of car are you looking at, or did you get?
I just got a new pickup truck, but no CD player in it.
No fucking. So they're making them shits with no CD players anymore. Let's see. Is there like a cavity in the or a space in the dash where you can install the third market or something?
Bluetooth. That's all it is. That's technology nowadays, but
yeah.
Guys are like CDs, man.
Well, okay, let me pass this one by you. Do you find yourself having the time with what you do and your life aside from career or whatever to like sit down and like listen to music, whether it's physical album or Bluetooth or whatever the case?
If I'm in my car, obviously, the music's always on. If I'm at home doing stuff, the music's on.
Yeah.
I don't know, like.
Okay, let me refine the question. Do you have a time to? Okay, you like the CDs. Do you struggle with because you run into an issue with like your vehicle doesn't play CDs anymore, so you're forced into listening to it in another way? Does that make you seek out time for you to sit down with the album yourself, physically, like with the physical copy to try to listen to it, or is it starting to phase out?
Honestly, like the physical album, like the CD, the only time I really actually did get a chance to listen to them were in my car. And like some, like, Spotify or like, iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
God. Me contributing to the death of CDs, but
yeah, kind of sort of see. Okay, I've hit crisis many a time with collecting physical CDs or moving over to to like Spotify and that kind of stuff. A number of times in like the last 10 years, I've been like, why am I fucking continuing to buy these things? Like, especially with the shipping, like a CD's $20 and then the shipping is $20. Like, is it really worth it? And even sometimes today, I'm still like, fuck, like, like I need to create moments and where I have to sit down and stuff. I have my earphones, like I had good Bluetooth headphones, like conk out on me. And sort of refrain from buying new ones, because if I wanted to listen to some shit, I needed to fucking sit down and have some time to pull out the albums and stuff. And it does work, but with like a crazy schedule, it is kind of difficult to do that. But in creating an instance where you can sit down and devote time to listening to a physical record, it makes it makes the ritual of it, I guess, that more special. I'm sitting in front of a record collection of about 1,000, CD collection of about 1,000. I just dumped maybe $600-700 on my last CD order, to point out the fact that like every time I have these crisis periods, I always seem to like double down. I hope that when you guys do your EP split into two or release it into a single album, that you will print out physical copies for people like suckers like me who want to buy them. Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to have too, because like people always buy CDs too. Like shirts and CDs sell always at shows and stuff like that. And I mean, you sell a CD, we sell them for like usually between like $5 and $10.
Yeah.
Like they always go. People always buy them, so people are still buying them. People are still listening to them.
Yeah, merch always tends to drive it in on the shows. And like conveniently now, it seems to be the cheapest way to buy it, because you're not paying shipping for something that's falling on a table. That's the one thing that fucking kills me. Yeah. You guys got a bunch of merch lined up for the new show coming up?
We got shirts, we got CDs, we got stickers. We've been working on getting some more merch designs and stuff like that. I know the whole process, it was slow during COVID and like member changes and stuff like that, but things are on track now, and we're really picking up momentum again. So we're hoping to have a fully stocked merch table.
Excellent. That sounds fucking great, man. I'm really glad you guys continue to pump it through the COVID times, along with like all the venues that didn't make it. A lot of bands kind of went the wayside too.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like kind of who punches through that weird moment in time, I guess, and see how like people kind of improve. Like you guys, honestly, like I found you guys during COVID, and you remained like super busy on social medias and that kind of stuff. So I knew I wasn't concerned that you guys weren't going to go by the wayside or anything. And now that like things have like opened up and like the doors are open and the people are like wanting to go check out tunes again, like on a big, huge stadium scale or like a bar scale, whatever, like the time for like live music is like really starting to come back again. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere pending another crazy world shitting the bed scenario. Yeah. But do you guys continue to, or I'm sorry, after this show coming up on Friday, is there a circuit that's going around? Are there any plans to like kind of hit the road a little bit?
We're going to play a lot of shows locally, like around the GTA, but our main focus right now is finishing the new album up, because the other one, like we released it right, like I said, right before COVID. We had a bunch of shows lined up, and that just kind of ruined everything for, being on the road for that.
I bet.
So our biggest thing that we've been working on, really trying to get it out, is the new album, and then we're going to play the shows as much as possible. But we got a bunch booked in this month and October. September we haven't anything really booked yet, but that's when we're going to really double down on the album.
Okay, great. Yeah, fucking awesome. Personally, that's a good time too, because my work stint will be finishing up and I'm just going to be down season for what I do. So, which means like the live shows I'm checking it will be going way up. I would love to put you guys on there and like get to meet you and shit.
Oh,
yeah, man. Yeah. You said that there was a band member switch. What happened there?
So, again, during COVID, it was basically just me and my drummer just jamming, because I'm the main songwriter in the band. So we've been the whole time just kind of doing stuff. But with our other guitar player, he had another band in the works, and there was kind of like he wanted to go more progressive and he wanted to go more like brutal death metal. So we kind of split ways. No bad blood or anything there.
Oh, sure.
And then get this though, our last show, our bass player quit 2 hours before our set.
Ooh, that's bad for him.
He's been dealing with a lot of tendonitis and pain issues and stuff, and like he physically just wasn't able to really keep up anymore.
Okay. Like
just 2 hours before the show, he's like, "Listen, guys, I got to bail on the band and the show. Like, I can't do it anymore. Like physically, because I don't know, death metal's a really demanding music to play for sure.
Absolutely, it takes so much out of you. It takes so much out of you. That's unfortunate to hear. The bodies are, you know, for as much as we work on them and move around in them, you know, like they're not the strongest things in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he, was it, it was due to the music that he was playing that the tendonitis was flaring up, or fuck, that's shit. Yeah.
He had no power in his hands anymore. He wasn't able to really do much with it. It's kind of sad, but I mean, you play music your whole life and that happens, and like, you know, you got to step back a little bit from it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hopefully the road to recovery is good and he gets all the physio and whatever it takes to take care of that kind of thing. And also, like, on a brighter note, like, if your body's going to give out doing something, it may as well be something that you love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You play till your fucking hands explode. Yeah.
Our buddy Shane from a band that I was in previously, he's an awesome bass player. He stepped right in and he's ready to go already. Great,
man. That's fucking great to hear. What was I going to ask next? Right. We had hinted earlier on like how the first album sounded sonically, and that you guys are going to be getting into the mixing of it. And that's, you got better production lined up. Is that a new studio? Did you guys do the first album like on your own? I couldn't find too much information about that. And I'm an audio guy myself. I tinker and fuck about with the faders and all that kind of thing. So production is a fascinating world for me. And just what's all the news on that one?
So we do everything ourselves. In our jam space, we have like a full studio, but we've been upgrading our gear and stuff like that. We recorded the last album completely here in this room that I'm talking in, actually.
Sweet.
The one we're working on now, we also did it in this room, but like gear wise and equipment, like we've really been upgrading that stuff too for probably the last 2 years.
Good. COVID. Yeah. My money went towards like new feeding the gear lust, as it were, again. Yeah. New preamps, new I got a new video switcher that I just picked up here. Actually, speaking on the video stuff, you're the main songwriter. Are you the social media dude too? You keep on top of all of that shit? Holy fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
I try to like even when we're on our downtime, I try to put out a lot of like online content too, like guitar videos or whatever, just kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows, man. Like you're dropping stuff all the fucking time.
Got to keep people interested. The way the world is now with the internet, everyone's so like almost like ADD. Everything's coming at you right away, so you gotta stay out there.
Isn't that a weird trick in order to, like, it's almost an algorithm in itself, where like you're thumbing through fucking Instagram reels or some shit, and if it doesn't get you in 3 seconds or 4 seconds, it's gone and it's on to the next one. Yeah. And then, like, you know, you got to work on something to sort of grab someone interest, someone like super quick. And like I've seen in your videos, like the guitar is usually a focal point in a lot of your stuff. And like I'll stop, bang, because like I'm a guitar guy, a guitar guy, and that kind of keeps you. But I find it almost exhausting to like kind of come up with a strategy in which to stop said people from fucking, you know, shit. I do everything for the show. My social media game is not so much on point. I really have to bone that up. I find it the hardest part of it all. Is it something that you look forward to? Have you mastered that game?
It's something I'm working on all the time, right? I mean, I'm always watching the analytics to see what people are watching and what the age groups and like the genders and, you know, all the analytics, and I watch from which videos are doing the best, and I try to learn from that, I guess. I don't know. Social media is a weird thing. It's weird and it's fickle. You think you're onto one thing and all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. Yeah. I've had the odd video or two sort of like bang out for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just drops right off again, or like the Instagram reel videos. And it's just kind of, it's hard. It's an ever evolving process. I'm sure I'll figure it out one day, and then I'll have to fucking refigure it out again. But you know, to the journey, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you got to do to pump out what you're passionate about. I mean, a little bit of social media tinkering, small price to pay. Yeah. Everyone's sitting there flipping through, you know?
okay, we're all wired in, like, you
Yeah.
know, we're all wired in and flying through all these social media things. Like, just everything is so fucking digitized. The music we listen to, the phones, like, which are basically little portals into another world in a sense. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre. It's fucking
Yeah.
weird. Things were easier when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Like, I didn't even have satellite TV until I was 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Come from an area where like Wi-Fi, you still can't even get Wi-Fi or internet in general for that matter.
Back in those days too, people had to go to shows and like talk to people to find the new bands and find out what's going on in the scene too. Nowadays you just log on.
Yep. Nowadays you just log on and away you go, and you get assaulted with so much quantity that it's hard to sift through the bullshit
Yeah.
to find stuff that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is now like one of the biggest challenges in my music collecting. I will admit YouTube is a good filter, because like I'm able to like find music that I want to, or sorry, like test out music before I go ahead and make the purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there is that aspect, but it and it does work. But finding the enthusiasm behind someone who says, "Jesus Christ, did you hear about that fucking cryophilic shit, man? Like, go find it." You know what I mean? Like that just seems the reaction, and or you know what I mean, seems just that much more wholesome and real and visceral to me. So you and coming in here into Toronto, where like there's just more people on the whole, so like there's more fans of said scene. Like getting to talk to them about stuff that excites them in terms of like this sort of music is a bit refreshing. You know what I'm saying? In Halifax, it's gotten stale, and you know everybody is small little community and stuff. But out here, it's sort of come kind of makes me feel a little bit younger again. It's really neat.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Also wanted to talk about your the songwriting on the first album. So this has been an interesting little way that the conversations on my last interviews have been going about how someone sort of takes their ideas and constructs them into a song. I had a cool, interesting moment with Frank from Cryptosis, who had said, when I typically write my own music, I kind of get stuck in like a 90 to 95% range, and I start to spin around. I call it the hamster wheel of fucking repetitiveness. And I have no way to kind of graduate from that. And he had suggested that what they did for their albums is that, or just their songwriting as a whole, is that we'd have like a digital data bank of just 7 to 10 second clips or whatever, or just riff ideas that we just dump into like a file, like a USB drive or something like that, and then and that would be it, and it would free them up to come up with more ideas, and then at some point they would sit down and start going through all the stuff that they had saved, and like certain ideas from 2 months ago might fit something that he had just done this week. And it's an exercise that I've been practicing, and it really has been working out really well. And knowing that your guys' album, every song is so distinct from the next, I can tell exactly which song I'm kind of into. I couldn't help but wonder what your ideas were in terms of kind of making everything super cohesive. Like, how do you attack the way that you come up with songs? Do you struggle with like too many bits, or do you have like a strategy in which it works and things are nice and flowing? Any cool tidbits you want to share for me? Because I'm always up to like learning new little stratagems.
So basically what my vision for any song that I write is I want it to be brutal, I want it to be technical, but I want it to be catchy and have like memorable song structures. Like I grew up as a kid like the 90s, where like, you know, grunge rock was the thing, and that was my first, you know, experience with music. And like their songs are structured like, you know, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, whatever.
Sure.
So I simple song structures like that, but usually when I write a riff, like that's the main theme, and like I don't know, my brain already kind of knows where it's going to go from there. But I'm always writing, like you're saying, like I have a bank of riffs, I've got a bank of songs. One thing that really helps us with our process is every time before we jam, our drummer, he takes like 20 to 30 minutes just to warm up with his metronome. He'll start at a low tempo and just kind of build it up and build it up.
Okay.
So we use that time as kind of like a free jam as a band to like jam with each other, like ideas and stuff like that while he's doing that.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, things just come out when we're jamming like that. I don't know. We don't really have much of a process. Like that's it right there.
Oh shit. Sounds pretty natural to me. Yeah. I once I worked with a band, I think in like my mid-20s. They were called Obsidian. And I would be a part of their band practices. I wound up recording their album. So seeing them construct like songs that they already hadn't had, or seeing them work on songs that they hadn't had written before I joined in was a pretty interesting process. And they were basically the opposite of that. They had one songwriter and they would have like Guitar Pro open and they would program all their shit out and write the riffs and send it to the band members. And the drummer would try and emulate what was going on there. They'd put their own spin on it. And then they would get together and then they would work on those Guitar Pro session files. Now, mind you, what they came out with was really, really good too. And the formula obviously had worked for that particular album. And it's kind of cool that like you can get the same awesome sounding results through like and totally different ideas. The bass player that you have brand new, does he share the same, does he fit in with that whole kind of thing? Like, again, I don't know how super new he is, but like,
he's only been in the band for probably not even a month. But again, like I said, he was a guy that I worked with in the past.
Right.
He's
right.
players that I call when I need a guy, because like he's phenomenal. He just steps in, he does his thing. But he approaches bass different than most bass players, because like we played string guitars, so we're lower than the bass actually.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's harder for the bass to find what to do and where to fit in, because most bass players just kind of like double the guitar player or whatever, the main rhythm guitar player.
Sure.
Whereas our new bass player, he's almost like a lead instrument. Like he puts a lot of melody to our stuff, a lot of different depths to the riffs with what he does added in there. So I'm actually really excited to have him in the band, be jamming with him again, because it's gonna make the next chapter of Cryophilic the vision that I've had in my head. It's almost there completely now.
Great, man. Great. That's a little bit of fresh blood sometimes goes a long way.
Fresh blood and old blood too, because I jammed with a guy previously with my drummer and the new bass player in the past band for like 8 years. So we all meshed together really well.
Wicked. Yeah, no, it sounds like you're super duper excited. That's making me super duper excited.
I'm just stoked that to be playing shows and have a new album coming out again. Because there's a long time without playing shows. It was the longest time I've ever gone since I was like 16 years old without playing live. So
holy
missing.
No fucking way. You've been playing live shows for that long. You said you were 40.
I'm 40.
And you've been playing shows for like 25 years? I think that's the math. Fucking get out of here.
First metal band, there was a band called Elevator 22. We were pretty big in the Toronto area. I was a kid at the time, but I got to play with all my favorite metal bands. So I was so happy about that back in the day. Yeah,
that would have started you off on the right path, huh?
Yeah.
And you grew up in Hamilton, right?
Grew up in Hamilton, yeah.
Yeah, so like you would have seen all the awesome shit coming from everywhere, like at a super early age. Man, now I'm really jealous. Yeah.
I've noticed since after COVID too, like before COVID, like the attendance at shows and stuff like that, it wasn't, it almost like the scene was kind of dwindling. But now that shows are happening again, like the volumes of people that are coming to the shows is actually mind blowing. It's like the late 90s, early 2000s again.
Dude, hell yeah, it is super noticeable. Let's see, this past spring was my first stint of like doing some Toronto shit and checking out like the music scene. And I banged out like a Behemoth had come, Amorphous was here, Leprous was here. Who else was there? I just saw Wake not too long ago, which was awesome. Spectral Wound came down, and like these places were fucking jammed, and everybody was losing their goddamn minds. And it is a surreal vibe to see something like that come after COVID, because you're right, like there wasn't a huge deal for that beforehand, at least in Halifax, for sure in Halifax. And then I've had this conversation with a number of people wondering like is it going to come back? Like what's really going to happen? And I've always said that live entertainment is one of the oldest forms of entertainment. Someone doing something in front of a bunch of people is fucking fun. And when you're really into it and you want to go see that stuff, you'll go well out of your way. And after everyone got stuck in a closet for 2 years, or wherever they live, hopefully not a closet, but when everyone finally got to come out, and concerts are happening. Like they're going, like entertain me, put me with bodies of people around shit that I love being around, and quality of life goes way the fuck up, man. Yeah. I fucking can't wait to do a bunch more live shows. Like when you said you guys are coming out in September, you're going to be on that list, and I'm curious to see who else is going to be coming out around here too. It's kind of fun to wake up and Cannibal Corpse is coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you going?
I never miss. I'll be there at that one for sure.
Yeah, maybe we should hook up beforehand.
I'm down. I'll be there, man.
Fuck yeah, right on. Me and my buddy, I saw Cannibal Corpse once in Vancouver, and it was Obituary and Abysmal Dawn.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was a great time. And my buddy had never seen them before. He's the singer from the Obsidian band I was talking about. So and we've kind of been bouncing shows together. So he'll wind up being there. I can't wait to see what Eric Rattan's going to be like in person with everything. Violence Unimagined is like really, really, really good. I'm very happy with all the new Cannibal Corpse stuff, actually.
Never disappoints, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Like that's a great example of a band that just doesn't stop. I typically get I wouldn't say corrected because my mind doesn't change, but like there's a lot of people who aren't fans of the Kill path, Kill and On, I guess, as it were. Whereas like I think I really jumped on board with Kill ahead. Like Evisceration Plague is fucking. I have sentimental connections to Evisceration Plague because I had been working on trying to get into death metal for some time in my early 20s. I was going down like the melodic stuff. And then when Napster was kicking about, when Napster was kicking about, and I was first finding out what else was there in the world, I was going through the Dimmu thing and the power metal stuff, and then I found me some Cannibal Corpse, and it was unlistenable. I couldn't fucking do it. And then when I wound up going to audio engineering school in my early 20s, I fell Decapitated put out Carnival is Forever. And I was like, where have you been all my life? And then Evisceration Plague came after that. And I was like, oh, I'm finally at least clicked. You know what I'm saying? Have you been a death metal kid since you were a youngin'?
Since this is going to sound crazy, but since probably like grade 5 when I got into death metal.
Yeah.
The Death, that album, that was the album that got me into death metal right there.
No shit.
Yeah. But it just snowballed from there. Like my favorite band, death metal wise, since I was a kid, has always been Suffocation.
Fucking dope.
Yeah. You probably hear a lot of Cryophilic stuff too. That's probably your biggest influence.
Oh yeah, there's some death in there for sure, man. There's some death in there for sure. Suffocation, though, you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to bust out the old. I haven't listened to them in like a long, long time. I got an album.
You gotta check out some of the Suffocation's new stuff.
I haven't yet. I'm gonna. My first CD that I ever listened to was was gifted to me, was Peace Elswood Who's Buying.
Yeah.
And I would have been 8 years old. And I didn't know what the fuck it was. I think it was sold at Walmart. I got it for Christmas, and it was red and it had a skeleton on it. And I was like, my brother was there and I was like, buy me that. And then so he bought it. And I didn't even know what I was listening to. I grew up rural Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. So it's Rankin family and Natalie McMaster and fiddles and so on and so forth. Right. And then there was just, I don't know what it was, but I liked it. And then as I started maturing and stuff, I started to realize, it would start to unlock itself as I matured. It's almost like things opening up when you're hitting puberty, like things are just different and shit. And so like this new oral sensation was like I was able to contemplate it a bit more. It was connecting with me. And then I think that's when Napster dropped and MP3s were starting to come about, that it was that album that made me want to find out what else was out there, because there was no other. Like, I think I had that one CD, maybe another CD for like 5-6 years, and that's all I fucking had. Yeah.
So Megadeth was the stepping stone.
Megadeth was the initial launching pad, man. It got me going. They got a new album coming out in a couple of days too. I can't say I'm too much of a fan of the new shit. But I always buy it. I have their whole discography. Man, I like thinking back about stuff like that, like kind of retrace the steps. I should point out, you being a CD collector, is that you have every CD you ever owned?
I have a pretty big CD collection that I don't even listen to anymore because Spotify and stuff.
Sure, yeah. Okay. Did you? I can't remember if you said earlier, but do you still purchase?
I do. Well, I used to, like, up until like last month when I bought my new vehicle, because there's no CD player in it. Like, really, my vehicle was the only place I had a chance to listen to music with like CDs and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
You must have like a big commute to work then, do you?
No, well, I mean, I'd say it's about half an hour, but I mean, listen to tunes makes like when I'm driving, that's the only place where I have like, my zone.
Yeah, that's you time.
Yeah. Yeah, just throwing the tunes, smoke a joint,
Where you go. What do you do for work?
I work for a body shop for a company called Metro Collision, working with wrecked transport trucks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no shit, no way.
I enjoy it. It's pretty metal.
It's actually pretty fucking metal, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a car back in Nova Scotia that is going to go to a body shop to take the imprint of a deer out of it.
Oh, geez.
The car won. It's a '94 Mercedes Benz.
That the deer lost then.
The deer lost. It literally disappeared. Yeah. The engine, all the components are fine. For some reason, my father took the sunroof out, and that's the major one. Like, how the hell? Like, I guess you got to be NASA grade astronaut to fucking put that back in. I have a Benz guy down there, and he's like, why did he do that? So yeah, a little bit of body work, and then I'm gonna drive that back up, and then I got to think about putting a fucking CD player on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My commute to work is usually, well, going to work super early is only like 15 minutes. I'm presently working in Mississauga, but I live downtown Toronto. But on the way back, it's like an hour and some.
Yeah.
And so like it's just enough time to digest an album on the whole. And I'm an album listener. I tend not to randomize or whatever. And with this new vehicle, speaking of vehicles and listening to music in them, like I'm gonna have to fucking figure something out. I'm kind of concerned. I don't really recall what '94 Benz speakers sound like. I don't imagine it's great. So I'm torn between, like, pulling them out and putting something new in. It's not a car that I would wind up selling, so I'm not worried about keeping it like all original, you know what I mean? Yeah, but well, I don't know. I'll figure that one out. Any instances where I can have some time to listen to some music kind of really is the key. Like, how else am I going to digest all the good stuff?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you between work and everything like that, like do you have lots of time that you can devote to Cryophilic or any other side projects that you got going on?
You know what, I mean, when I'm not working, like, music is basically what I'm doing. Like, I'm always, every day I practice guitar. I'm always writing. We jam twice a week. We actually we run a building here that I'm in right now. We rent the building, and there's 7 rooms that we rent out to other bands and stuff like that.
Oh, so you own a jam space, like a complex.
We rent the building from a business, and then we sublet all the rooms. So it kind of helps us, with our music stuff too, because we got a building to jam in and record in.
Fuck yeah, man. I was gonna ask you about that. Like, that place looks pretty goddamn big. I thought it was someone's like a tuned out basement, you know what I mean? It was just for that, but like, no, you guys are like, it's legit. Like, good for you. You know what I mean?
Like, our music video we shot here too, like in the basement of this place. So it's a pretty good asset for us and every band in it, actually, too. Yeah.
Yeah, to be able to have a space in which you can function and put music out is mega important. All this is in my living room, essentially. Nice. And so my living room is like a spaghetti monster of cables and cameras and lights and shit like that, which is between this Evisceradio stuff, the actual radio show that I do, and a new YouTube venture that I'm doing. There's no point in putting anything away. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I can live, like, it's just me here. I have my own place. So like I can live with that. but there will be a time where I'm going to need a dedicated spot, and whatever that might be, I have no idea. But it is something to keep in the back of the head, because if you lose the ability to have like a creative, like like physical space in which you can do stuff, then it's really going to cause some problems, especially when what you put out isn't like always in the box. Like, you know what I mean by in the box, like recording music or editing photos and stuff. Yeah. Like it's super important. I find often overlooked too.
It's also nice to have like a space too, because like I can disconnect from home life while I'm here, and I can disconnect from band life while I'm at home, because finding that balance between the two, you know, it's sometimes hard.
Yeah. Yep. Tell me about it. There's gray lines between what I do for work and this passion project too. Like it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. I really need like 30-hour days, and like an 8th day would fucking be great. There are some silver linings though. I work in the film industry out here.
Yeah.
And so like it's a contract basis. So I either work a feature film or do a TV show, and then when that's done, you move on to the next one should you choose. The show that I'm on right now will be done in September, end of September. I go home to Nova Scotia for a month, and I come back, and there's going to be a lull period where I can really sort of get all like the grind out of the way for whatever the Evisceradio stuff will be in the winter. So it allows some time for like some creative room and like, you know, mashing on the keyboard room and that kind of stuff. So when I sit down to do, say, more interviews, I've already like done all that kind of groundwork. So there is some, because I don't work a 9 to 5 year round, there is like pockets which you just sort of jump into. And so I'm hoping that it actually does work out that way. Because if there is when there usually is a down period that I wind up going back to work, I'm obviously going to take that. Don't want to be out of work for too long. Film bucks are pretty fucking good out here. You said you got family life going on?
Well, I mean, I don't have any kids or anything like that, but just, you know, band life and like, you know, regular life, I try to keep those two separate as much as possible, so I can, when I'm working on one, I can focus on it, you know? Yeah.
Do you find yourself one taking over more than the other?
No, you know what? I've been doing this a really long time, and I think I figured out the fine line of, you know, putting the effort into both. I mean, music is a part of me. Like I'm going to be that guy who's just like, you know, I'm going to play until as late as I can. Like if I can play in my 80s, I'm still going to be shredding in my 80s.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I love it. Yeah. Do you on the topic of like having that balance sort of thing, and this is another point that kind of comes up in conversations I've had, not knowing exactly like where you are in Hamilton or whatever, do you find that like, regardless of the balance between band and real and like actual life and just being able to equate those things to who you are as a person, do you find that like every once in a while, like you need to go somewhere to reset? Is there like a Zen place that you can go to? Do you practice things which fucking kind of reconnect the dots, as it were? Like me personally, I know when it's time to go back home.
Yeah.
And when I go back home, it's cell phones off if they worked that far where I lived. And it's deep woods, riverbed, and like it's just me, and I'll hang out in that area for like maybe a week or whatever the case is before I wind up coming back, and it sort of straightens my back out again and keeps my eyes looking straight. You know what I'm saying? Do you are there any moments where you have to hit the pause button at all?
You know what? For me, that exact Zen that you're talking about is being on stage and playing shows. People like, I'm a shy, nervous kind of guy in real life, but when I'm on stage, that's my element. Like that's my place. That's where I feel most comfortable.
That's where you can breathe.
Stage fright. I've got life fright. On stage, it's great. That's my place.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. The shit that you actually love doing turns out to be the fresh breath of air that you need. That's fucking crazy. That sounds like someone who has been doing it for a long ass time and has made all the nuances of doing passion project shit work for them in the right ways.
Like I was saying, during COVID, I didn't play live for like almost 3 years, and like that's a huge part of my life that wasn't happening. Like I wasn't having that release, that Zen place. So like, you know, now the shows are a thing again and I'm playing again. It's good.
Were you able to supplement the lack of doing live shows with something fulfilling? Other than like you didn't have that state, like, you know what I'm trying to say? You didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was everything to you, and now that was gone temporarily. Like, was there something else in like what did you do about that?
That's when actually during that time is when I really got into like social media and like making videos and content for our, different platforms and stuff like that, because I had all the time in the world because we weren't rehearsing for shows, nothing like that. So I got to really try to like I've been really doing a lot of like videos for like YouTube and stuff like that. Like it's really amateur, but I've been learning a lot. So that's what I did in place of playing shows, I guess.
Yeah, and keeping the brain constructive and expanding skill set.
Yeah.
Once you get the shows back, you're like twice the person because you fed your shit. You know what I mean? You kept yourself going. You kept it sharp. Yeah. I same sort of deal. I worked in live entertainment before COVID hit. And so I got off on audience reaction. I wasn't on stage. I was backstage working in theater, and going from like hearing audience applause to nothing was weird. And so I doubled down on the guitar stuff. I started working on my own music, and I doubled down on the Evisceradio stuff, or at least came up with alternate plans of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted it to grow. I was already had the radio show, but I wasn't doing the YouTube thing. And I knew the YouTube thing wasn't really going to take off down there. So that was like, okay, well, is Halifax actually the deal? And so in there laid like the baby steps to come to Toronto. And with the podcast thing aside and the career stuff aside, I knew that like with the world shutting down, a new chapter had to turn over. And so I needed to work on certain things personally in order to get through those next steps. And then when there was a window last year in which Ontario had just come out of like their third lockdown or something, I packed all my shit into a car and got the fuck out here. And all that prep that I had done for myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, like paid its dividends, man. Like it all worked out for the better. I've done everything I wanted to do in Toronto and then some. Like it's been kick ass out here. Everything's been working really, really well. My energy's in a good spot. I'm talking to fucking like-minded people about like, what gets them off as a human being, and just basically looking for the pursuit of happiness, wherever it fucking takes you. And it's cool to know that like there's people out there, again, such as yourself, that like, share that same sort of like, I can do the things that I want to do, and there's a way to figure that out. And of course there's a balance, but in the end, it's sort of like we got one chance to live this shit, so why not do it on our own terms,
Right.
Yeah, man. Fucking yeah, you seem like a super solid dude.
You too, man. You too.
Yeah, thanks. So I think that's all the time I got for now. I'm gonna prep for the radio show I got coming up in a couple hours. I'm really happy that you got some Cannibal Corpse shit on the go. We should keep in touch. I'd love to get a beer in with you or meet down there or whatever the case may be. I'll keep my ear to the ground for the new Cryophilic shit. I'm really looking forward to that, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me. And I'll probably have this uploaded in the next week or so.
Nice.
I'll let you know how all that stuff goes. I do little pre-edits and blah, 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 blah. But we'll keep in touch, man. Thanks again for sitting down.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I fucking love it, man. Take care, bro.
See ya.